In the world of Naruto, Kekkei Genkai are some of the most fascinating powers that we have in the series. Some are super overpowered enough to be instant kill jutsu, and others are shiny red eyes like the Sharingan that reflect the very blood that's about to be spilled from the person unfortunate enough to see those eyes as an enemy. However, one of the very first Kekkei Genkai that we got introduced to in the series was Ice Release, being used by the 15-year-old child named Haku, and it was one of the Kekkei Genkai that had some of the most insane potential, yet sadly, Haku, as we all know, would die before he ever reached that potential. While Kakashi would eventually get the chance to trade blows with Zabuza and Haku again during the 4th Ninja War, Naruto Uzumaki on the other hand wouldn't be afforded that opportunity, and while we have seen a few others use Ice Release during the time since the Land of Waves arc, most of you are likely unaware of the fact that Naruto Uzumaki has indeed been in an open conflict with one more Ice Release user, and this Ice Release user isn't a slouch either. She's actually very strong. Join me in today's newest installment of After Naruto Shippuden, where we take a look at the Ice Release user who found herself unfortunate enough to be on the opposite side of Naruto Uzumaki, who wanted all the smoke during a mission after the 4th Ninja War ended, and Naruto flexes on her in a very disrespectful way. For those of you guys who are new to the channel, After Naruto Shippuden is a series on the channel where we take a look at story events and lore that occur in the Naruto timeline between Naruto chapter 699 and the start of the Boruto era and Naruto chapter 700, which much of that content was never adapted into the Naruto Shippuden anime, hence the title After Naruto Shippuden. The information for this video is going to be coming to us via one of those stories that Naruto Shippuden never animated, which is the Kakashi Hiden story, Lightning in the Frozen Sky, which I'll leave links to down in the description box if you want to purchase that story. This story takes place in the months following the end of the 4th Ninja War, and then jumps ahead to the time 1 year after the war, where Naruto's already been given a Hashirama Cell arm but is having trouble using it properly to do simple things such as eat ramen. In the scene we're about to go over, it takes place at the start of the story, where Naruto Uzumaki has been dispatched as a part of a 2-man team with Sai on an S-rank mission that has lasted for several months, where the two of them are going around the continent and they're hunting down a growing number of shinobi who got the opportunity to experience the Infinite Tsukuyomi dream world, live in a world without winners and losers, and see their own personalized utopia. And when they were brought out of the Genjutsu following Naruto and Sasuke breaking Infinite Tsukuyomi, there were those who came out of that perfect dream and they couldn't handle the sight of the reality before them. Comrades who they were reunited with in that dream world were now dead at their feet. Memories of the horrors of the 4th Ninja War came flooding back to their minds simultaneously. Years of tireless missions being used as tools for the ninja nations and villages, fighting others simply for the sake that they wore different headbands affiliated with a different country. It led to those questioning if Madara was really the bad guy. They questioned if perhaps Madara's way of doing things wasn't the right way after all. Sure, they might have given up some of their free will, but at the very least, they weren't suffering anymore. And so a large number of those shinobi took the aftermath of the war to flee to Naruto's other countries like Ridaku, which you actually saw in the Boruto anime, as well as the Land of Silence. They used multiple Bijudamas that were fired off by the Edo Tensei Jinchuriki and the Zetsu, killing people, and some Edo Tensei killing people and not leaving behind bodies as a means to escape. But during the transition period between Tsunade naming Kakashi 6th Hokage and Kakashi formally becoming Hokage by having a ceremony on top of the Hokage rooftop, the two of them would notice a pattern that stood out. The number of dead bodies that were accounted for and the number that were reported, it didn't match up with the reports that they had, and thus Naruto and Sai were dispatched on an extended mission to bring those people back to be punished. Which leads us to Naruto engaging with this Ice Release user, which is a side note. Imagine being a rogue ninja and you got Naruto looking for you, and you got someone as emotionally inept as Sai looking for you as well. I would hate to be them. Now, one of the things that happens here is one of the groups that is inspired by Madara sought to bring out peace by going the full Thanos route, which ironically, this happens before Thanos does what he does in MCU. This group, they went down to the Land of Waves, basically to the Land of Fire's front doorstep, which takes major balls, and they proceeded to prove a point. Money is what ninja villages use to stay employed by the daimyo from the different countries because they can't self-sustain on their own. Money is what led to the first 3 ninja wars, disputes over resources and squabbles that caused people to kill one another during those ninja wars, among other things, which is why they thought they were going to prove that money and fighting over resources were the root of all the problems between the ninja world and the peace that Madara tried to force upon other people. So this group of ninjas went to the peaceful land of waves, which was growing rapidly via trade and making those first of the airships and some of the technology you saw in the Boruto anime Funato clan arc. And this group of rogue ninjas proceeded to carry out a massacre. They killed half of the population in the land of waves in order to send a message, which ultimately it got the attention of Naruto, the 17-year-old whose name was on that bridge that led to this small country getting to prosperity via trade. And this led to Naruto and Sai rushing out to the hideout to capture the leader of this group, but not before Naruto gets a harsh reality and a lesson in the toll that the fourth ninja war took on the civilians, and how actions made by Tsunade and the other Kage led to the ice release user that Naruto was seeing bloodlusted coming after him. With the scene and the context being set, I'll read some of the selected lines from the novel and then I'll come back to you guys with my thoughts and add some more of the context about what we're reading here. And it's here I'm going to begin quoting those lines. Naruto's eyebrows left up. If the land of waves is at peace, then it is a peace built on a pile of banknotes seized by stomping on the impoverished people. Can you really say that there is no hatred or sadness in this land? Naruto had no reply. The masked ninja spoke instead. Quickly crouching down, Naruto's opponent hit the surface of the earth with the palm of one hand. Ice release. Chains of earth and ice, they shouted. What? Ice release? Naruto said. The shockwave rumbled in his stomach as it raced forward, splitting the ground in half. Countless icicles sprouted up from below and spread all throughout the cave, piercing the ceiling, but carefully avoiding where Naruto and Garo stood. In the blink of an eye, Naruto's escape route had been blocked off. He was trapped. So long as there's a hint of moisture in the air, I can freeze anything with my jutsu. The ninja's voice was low and hoarse through the mask. And now you have nowhere to go. Hand over Kahyo. Every ninja gathered around them. Naruto stared at the woman in the mask. I feel sorry for your son, Naruto said. A moment of silence passed. But I just can't get on board with what you're doing, Naruto replied. You're killing innocent people who have done nothing wrong and won't give up their freedom. How is killing people going to make anyone happy? All that it's going to do is breed more hatred, Naruto said. There is no revolution without pain. These are the birth pains required to create a new order, the woman said. There has to be some other way, Naruto asked. You don't really intend to debate this here, the woman replied. Naruto didn't bother to answer. If you won't come to me, then I'll have to make you, the woman shouted. Sorry, but I don't want to fight you, Naruto said before he wrapped his hand around her leader Garo and kicked at the ground and flew upwards. So you're running, the woman shouted. A heartbeat later, the woman too was in the air, rushing towards Naruto, making hand seals. Ice sword, the woman said. A sound like shattering glass echoed through the mountains. The water in the air condensed and became countless daggers headed towards an unwavering Naruto. He watched the tips of the swords glitter under the light of the moon, but Naruto suddenly grinned. The dozens of ice swords were about to carve through him when a black bird suddenly snatched away Naruto and Garo. End quote. It's immediately after this that Naruto and Sai joke about the close call of Naruto almost getting himself skewered by the attack, and they high-five each other before Naruto dispels his shadow clones that had been previously dispatched below. Their objective was to get the leader of this organization, the mastermind, and the one bankrolling this effort, but Naruto, in the aftermath of his conversation with this ice release user, he is shaken up following this battle. Not because she did any damage to him physically, but instead of what she did mentally to him. She lost her son to an illness that could have been cured had there been any medics left behind in the land of fire that could treat her child. This woman who he battled went from small village to small village throughout the land of fire looking for medical doctors to treat her dying child. Yet because Tsunade pulled the doctors in the land of fire to have them placed into the medical unit's ranks during the Fourth Ninja War, the few doctors who remained, they could barely do basic medical work, which ultimately led to this woman who had long since given up being a ninja and was already in hiding due to having the Ice Release Kekkei Genkai. It led to her turning against the land of fire in the time after her child passed away. I really want you guys to think for a moment. Being a parent who lost their child and then getting caught up in a dream world when Madara casted the Infinite Tsukuyomi and getting the chance to see that child again, only to be brought back to the reality in the blink of an eye to see that said child was dead. You can see how someone who had no intention of turning against the ninja system, no intention of being a ninja ever again, suddenly became radicalized, and how that hatred led to someone who has stopped being a ninja to begin training all over again with a ferocious nature, and somehow finding it in her heart to make others suffer as a result. This woman who Naruto refused to fight further, once he saw the reason behind her pain and her hurt, and he saw how the decisions made by his Kage Tsunade and the other Kage like Gar and other villages was the cause of her being radicalized. Naruto thought he brought about peace, and yet he's seeing here that peace doesn't mean people don't suffer. And this woman, she was not weak by any means. Her ice release was fast enough that base Naruto was caught off guard by it, and as we see later on, when the same woman fights against the fourth Raikage, she's fast enough that she easily matches the blows of the Raikage while he's in his lightning chakra mode, while he's trying to use his lariat, and she's weaving hand seals fast enough that her jutsu's hitting the Raikage before he even realizes he's been hit by ice release, with at one point her actually freezing his beard in order to flex on him. Getting back to Naruto though, this moment, it is very telling. He could have tried to talk her down, but he's matured enough to a point that he knows his words can't reach everyone, and yet at the same time, he can't deck them all in the face like how Obito did, because with some people, the pain will only make things worse, which is what Naruto found himself seeing here. He was in a position where everyone knew that he would be the Hokage one day. Everyone in the Land of Fire knew this. Everyone on the continent knew Naruto Uzumaki would be the 7th Hokage. It was just a matter of Tsunade and Kakashi grooming him for that role and making him ready. And he saw firsthand with this woman's anger that there are decisions that he would make as Hokage that would affect people beyond his village. And for the first time since the war ended, Naruto found himself questioning what being Hokage means and if they were doing the right thing, which led to him visiting the graves of Zabuza and Haku, which you can see what happens when he visits those graves by clicking this link on the screen to this video I made on that topic several years ago.